Okay, cool. I'll get started. Now you got me in my head. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Team Kitchen Fable video. I'm Jacob here with Steven, and we're going to be doing some commentary over his own game in the Flesh and Blood competitive team league that Tower Number
Mhm.
9 and our own Tyler Broughton are administrating for the North American Flesh and Blood team leagues. So,
Yep.
yeah, so this is your game. You're playing Briar, and the opponent is playing
Mhm.
Oldhim.
Yep. It was definitely an interesting matchup. As usually, Oldham's going to want to try and fatigue you out as the Briar player. So, without any spoilers, let's see how I deal with it. I guess I will slight spoiler. I am playing the hybrid Briar build. So we'll see if I can get these Mount Heroics out in time to do some real damage.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great card. So I think Oldhim won the roll here.
Mm,
Whoever
true.
wins the roll is probably just going to be going first in this matchup, right? Oldhim loves getting an
Yep.
arsenal. You also can make great use of your arsenal, dig a little deeper for your plunder runs. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's starting off with an East Strike for possibly five good go again. I'm not going to remember every single hand that I had throughout the course of this game, but I believe this hand you'll see me block. This was an East Strike for seven too.
Yeah.
Uh, you can't see your hand, but I think it was like the other three cards in my hand were no blocks, which is why I took a hefty five damage right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty huge.
yeah, it is. It is. So I was already on the back foot starting off. Um, and then this turn, I remember to take my tunic, and you'll see in the future. I will forget a few times, but no worries. Uh, we don't need it, maybe. And yeah, so here
Yeah,
we
so here
go.
we see one of those non-blockers, Ball Lightning,
Hmm.
following a sting. So this is going to send two arcane over and one physical or two if he lets it hit. But yeah, when I saw that first turn, I was like, geez, you got to have either a busted hand or one of those patented no block hands when you're only blocking two on a seven attack. But definitely makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, and one of the things I did notice, one of the things coming in here is that my opponent Oldhim only has one null rune here. So any instance that I can swing my sword and I can get over with some extra damage where he doesn't have the crown up is damage I'll be able to leak here. And that's my goal, trying to leak as little increments of damage as possible, get him low enough, and then go for have some huge Mount Heroic turns to just close out the game. That's my plan.
Oh yeah. So he blocks the first arcane with his Crown of Seeds, the second arcane with his Null Rune, and then he puts one resource into Ram's Head. So far all the damage is being blocked.
Right? That is a blue ball lightning. And I took a time here because I thought I could swing the hammer for 4 damage, but then he can block it effectively using actually cards in his hand. Or I can actually play the lightning press and do the 4 damage guaranteed, or at least semi-guaranteed, assuming he doesn't have a defense reaction. But of course, it's Oldhim, so they have tons of defenses. Either way, I think it was just a correct way to go for it in this situation. And I believe my other card, I just Arsenal here coming up because I want to keep something going for the next turn. 5 card hands are my goal here.
Yeah, he's only dug through a couple of cards in his deck so far, so there was definitely a good chance for him not having a defense reaction there.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see what the Oldhim does. Maybe just a swing with hammer, maybe a big attack. Like I said, I don't remember too much every instance. Oh yeah, the really annoying card, Spinal Crush.
Yep, that's
Yep,
a good
that's
start. If he's going to forego having an arsenal for anything, it's going to be to throw out one of these big impactful attacks like Spinal Crush. All your attacks care about go again, so
yeah. Go again is all I do. So yeah, this was really annoying. The opponent Oldhim starting off really strong, getting away with some big hitters. Uh, See how I decide to block here. No embodiments either, so it's not like I can block with armor and get away with it. I believe I might even block with armor at this time. I was debating like, oh, I can have go again. Basically, you don't want to, even though you're, um, let me see, I take 3 here. Yes, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I block for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I took the hit to get crushed. The reason being I didn't want to use armor at this time. I didn't have a good hand to continue getting a lot of go again into some a bunch of attacks in a row anyway. So I thought blocking here and saving my armor for future bad crush effects where I actually have a good hand that I want to save was a little bit more beneficial than just saving some life right now. And like one of my turn was going to be weak anyway.
Yeah, it
So,
takes a lot
so
of patience to do that, to take a crush effect like that that kills your turn, but you
mhm,
still save your armor, and I think that's definitely the right move. You're still
yep,
trying to chip some damage in here. He takes the 4 damage would be good, or if he loses some cards, it means that you have more chance to keep cards in hand next time around. So
yep, exactly.
definitely,
So just being a little patient, a bit dictated by what the cards I've been drawing early on. Um, am a little sad about losing my pulse of candlehold, and here's another lightning press. I guess I started my hand with two lightning presses. Yeah, that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. Um, but yeah, another situation where like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna do an attack and try and get in for like 3 chip damage, and getting a card out of their hand or getting some chip damage are both useful in this scenario. Yeah, Pulse of Candlehold early. Yeah, that's a card that's gonna let me to put an Earth card and Channel Mount Heroic on top of my deck to be able to get some more cycles of that. So losing it early already puts me in a bit of a situation here. Ooh, this one's a little weird. I'm not sure. My opponent, super great opponent. It's just like I'm gonna be commentating it like just face value of what I see. Um, this Oakenold is just an attack for 7. It's just damage. So I'm not really worried too much about it. So yeah, I see that I took the whole thing, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and try. And now I have a big 5 card hand. Let's see what I can pull out here. Starting off with the ball lightning.
And that's a good start to any 5 card hand, in my opinion.
hmm Yeah. Another thing that you can do as the Briar deck, and if you know that you're against a control matchup and it's going to go a bit longer, you can stack your classic Sting into triple ball turn. That does a lot of arcane damage, especially with an opponent with only one arcane barrier. It can really go over the top and just get those last chips of points in. This deck that I was playing had 8 ball lightnings, so I wasn't too worried about using some ball lightnings early and then pitching the other ones later. And just this situation right now, I was just like, as you can see, I'm like 16 health behind. So I wanted to get something going with my Firecracker hand.
Yeah, that's a huge
Yep.
life deficit to have to crawl back from, but if anybody can do it, it's this hybrid list. If you can get off a couple Mount Heroic turns, that's huge swing of damage. And we'll
hmm
see how much Oldhim tries to value his life, or maybe he'll go aggressive with how low you are now. But you
hmm
see him already pitching to seeds and block at cards, so looks like he's gonna start blocking out.
Yep. Yep. And I do have a flurry here of elemental slash lightning attacks to get all this ball lightning triggers going. Uh, I believe this is going to be a no non-attack hand, so you'll see I'll get try and get through. They still have the crown. It's a replacement effect too, so depending on how my opponent blocks, I might get some damage through anyway. Yeah, so I even have lightning surge from Arsenal. This is great.
Yeah, this is a pretty great setup. All of these 4 damage attacks coming across after a ball lightning. Just
hmm
so many opportunities to get chip damage through. If anybody can stop it, it's definitely Oldhim, but you're still
Yeah.
making him expend his resources. So
Yep. Also being really careful not to close the combat chain here. Don't want it to get extra value off of the Ram's head. Yeah, just want to again try and get over the top as much as I can. I feel like as the turn goes by, I feel like I'm remembering like more and more about what's gonna happen. So yeah, I think he takes 5 here. I see him take 4. I think I remind him in a second here. Um, and then I have 2 cards in hand, and I believe one of them is the Lightning Surge I showed, and the other one's yep, Snatch. The reason I chose Snatch instead of the higher damage play is because if I played Lightning Surge, there could be a situation and he pitches a um what's it called? An ice card, and lets me just put that other Snatch on top of my deck. I will have no arsenal. So Snatch is makes it a little awkward in the sense that he could block with a card and armor and ice react to put that card on top of my deck, but that demands some armor, and I'm happy to either get some armor here, or just hit with Snatch, whatever happens here.
yeah, that's actually a really deep line of thinking. I think I would have definitely just been like, "Ooh, Snatch is good from Arsenal," and I already have a card. So always keeping track of when Oldhim could potentially ice react you. That's super important for this Briar gameplay.
And then I'm really, really happy with this trade here where I take both of his armor pieces and he has react. He has reacts anyway, which is fine, but I take both of his armor pieces to do it. I'm not sure what card he saves here. Um, but we'll probably make maybe Arsenal or maybe swing with the hammer with it. But I'm very happy with that how that trade turned out.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think the Oldhim wants to be saving the armor pieces specifically for your plunder run turns,
Mhm.
when you have a lot more draw effects on the line, or you have potentially bluffing defense reactions, and he needs to save extra cards, maybe his own defense reactions in hand. Um, so I definitely think as the Briar player, happy about getting rid of those armor.
Mhm. Here's another interesting play from my opponent. Just swinging in for 4 again, base 4 damage here. Um, interesting, not arsenaling the staunch response. You're more of a Bravo slash Guardian player. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think his logic is that he wants to maybe see if he can race you. He has a 16 life point lead.
Mhm.
Even that much damage can be closed in a second by Briar, I think. But um, I think I probably would have chosen to Arsenal the staunch response. Either you crown it away or you use it, and staunch response is just amazing against Briar's split damage.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think he might be choosing to commit to just attacking you and dealing as much damage to you as possible. So I think that
Mhm.
might be his logic.
Yep. And I believe I was going to have a pretty good turn where I attacked for 4 and maybe done another attack following it up, but my opponent does have Blizzard. And yeah, as you can see, I didn't pay for any for that to have go again because I believe my hand didn't have a lot of resources, or I just thought the heads up play, like, sure, I can have a weak turn now, and then next turn, I'll have an even better turn following it up. And if I'm correct, that might be a plunder run turn coming up, but we'll see how it things shape up.
Yeah, and I mean he used two cards and you still got one chip damage through, so you starting with an embodiment. Whatever he's going to do with two cards is not going to be that threatening for you. And this hammer's not even coming across with a nice effect on it, so you
Yep.
definitely are keeping your 5 card hand here.
Yep. So super excited. Don't have to pay an extra resource. So, and even then, like I always have to think about it, as a Briar player or just against Oldhim, you always think about how does my hand look with having one extra resource cost. Um, and then interestingly enough, yeah, I block with Enlighten Strike. I believe, yeah, at this point I was like, wow, I'm at 20 health. I'm already half health. I need to preserve my life total a little more. I'm still gonna have a good turn even if I don't Enlighten Strike. So just tucking it, throwing it away, getting the value health wise, and then again just attempting to continue to get over the top.
Yeah, I think that's super disciplined there with how low your life total is.
Mhm.
Just making sure that you have the buffer, if he does come in with some big effects before you might want to have another big turn, that you can chunk damage later on in the game.
Mhm. Yep. And there's yeah another ball lightning, multiple attacks with cat that can be buffed up by our lightning attacks here. Trying to think about the situation here. Oh yeah, I did want to mention. I wish we had a counter of how many non-attacks I've played during all these turns because I believe it's only been that Sting of Sorcery, unfortunately.
Yeah, when
Just
I was
been
watching this game, I definitely felt that. I mean, you've definitely had some turns where you have the built-in go agains, but not having the non-attack to finish your turn with the Rosetta, I can see how it hurts.
hmm especially since, like I mentioned earlier, Rosetta was kind of going to be the way that I get a little bit more over the top, at least during the earlier turns where I don't have Mount Heroic, because of him only having one null rune. Okay, so let's see how I follow this one up. I think this might be the same situation as last time where I have a snatch and another lightning attack in my hand, and I just choose to go for snatch again, just for again you can block with the armor and stuff, and then ice react the card away, or you can let snatch hit, and it doesn't matter that he put the card in the top of my deck because I'll be drawing it anyway. So uh, another interesting play from my I think for my part.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that's some sound logic right there.
Let's see, takes 4, which lets me draw a card, but which I believe doesn't matter. I believe both cards are like about the same power wise. So
You do
I
see
don't
you
think I drew
arsenal the
anything
card you
fancy.
drew though, so
Yeah. So
a
we'll
little
see what that is.
spicy. We'll see what
Maybe
it is
maybe it is a
though.
little spicy. Maybe it is like a plunder run or something. Again, I also haven't had a plunder run turn at all. So I think that other card was just lightning surge. It looks like. So no plunder runs yet. So let's see what Oldhim decides to do here. I will be taking a lot of these hammer swings if I remember correctly as well.
Yeah, so
Yep.
this
And this
hammer has the
time,
ice effect attached to it, but you got
mhm,
a 5 card hand. Maybe it's worth it.
yeah. And I believe I do take it here. The good thing about the hybrid build is that it does play a lot more blues in it. So the ice, the frostbites aren't as damaging to the game plan. It's one less card to attack with, so it'll have to be used for resources. But if you are using Rosetta, you're gonna have to pitch a card at some point in the turn anyway. So not super upset about it. Uh, I'm also very happy that opponent has not put in any Channel Lake Frigids into play.
Yeah, Channel Lake
Um,
Frigid will gum you up a lot more than a single Frostbite would, that's for sure.
mhm. And then here we go. It looks like I blocked with a card and some armor. I believe that, yeah, which was a little interesting. I believe I could have taken 4 and just maybe used the Tome of Harvest to pay forward what I needed to do. Um,
At
but
this
yeah, I
point,
don't
you
know.
may still be worried about your life total being as low as 19, at least
Yeah,
valuing the life total a bit there.
yep. And then, I think I was also thinking about, hey, I think in about 2 or 3 turns, I'll be pivoting. So I should get also my skull cap value as soon as I can. So I think that was also part of my reasoning there. This is a 5 go again and Lion Strike.
So we see him start off, as he does many times with Crown of Seeds and Rampart, just getting so much value off of a pitched card. And
Mm-hmm.
then looks like he's got the sink below, and the Crown of Seeds prevention is still floating. Um, Blocking 5 on this first each strike with go again.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what my follow-up is. Again, I don't remember too much about what it was, but probably an attack for 4 or something along those lines. Yep. Arcanic Shockwave. I think there was an interesting here. I think the card in my hand is a lightning card. I decided not to fuse it because he had a floating resource anyway that he could use the arcane damage ping. So I just decided to not give my opponent any information about what's going on in my hand.
Yeah, it's those little edges that really make play like this impressive.
Hmm.
Uh, that one floating resource definitely. I just totally
Yeah,
understand. That's an amazing line of thought.
you gotta just watch out for that kind of stuff. Like, don't give away any information that you don't need to. So let's see here. Oof. CNC. I think, man, I don't remember what my Arsenal card was. I was worried that at last turn, I was worried. I took a little while to think about attacking with a Carnic Shockwave or not because I knew that he could Ice React and put the card that I put in my Arsenal in my hand. And it looks like he didn't do it, and I was like super happy about it. But I see why he decided to leave the card in Arsenal. I just wanted to give it to threaten it. Command and Conquer. Pretty good card. See, just debating my armor choice here.
Yeah, you can block with 1 card plus armor or block with 2 cards. It's all just going to be dependent on the power level. And when you see
Hmm.
people, it's a little bit of a meme. Sometimes you'll be like, "Oh, my opponent thunk for 3 minutes when I was just swinging my hammer for 4." But what they're doing is thinking about their next turn too. So there's just so much different things you can consider in a game of Flesh and Blood. So uh,
Yeah, Flesh and Blood's a good game. I can agree with that. And yeah, we see here I decided to block with the 3 and then my armor, making sure to keep my arsenal. So I believe it's gonna be the first Plunder Run?
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, let's go. Plunder Run. And I think it's gonna be a nice Plunder Run into another one, into Exude. Yes. Man. See, I'm getting the turns back
Yeah.
as soon as I see them happen. So this is a great one. Oldhim does have a few attacks that do kind of like break the ability to not use defense reacts, which Exude Confidence does. Is a very good card against the heavy defensive decks. Um, and in this instance, I wish I had a blue. I think I didn't have a blue to back it up, but I wish I did. I didn't have to block with that Command and Conquer because it would have been so great to have it in hand to just pump it up by 2. My opponent does the heads up play and just over blocking to make sure that I don't just get over by 2 damage and stop him from using reacts. And on top of that, also stopping him from getting 2 card draw because that's what I'm threatening here.
Yeah, these exude
So,
turns are so hard to block as Guardian
mm,
players, especially when you might have Defense React in your hand, but I think this is definitely the right thing to do. He's at worst, your last card could be a zero cost card for four, and
mhm.
if it is, then he might have a three block in one of his equipments, but even better, it looks like he has an Ice React and just throw that back on top. But the turn's not over because you have the Rosetta for two and two, so you still got some damage through there, and now he has no cards. So I
Yep,
think you're looking better and better, slowly grabbing the momentum back.
exactly. So, sucks that I won't have an arsenal here, but four card hand. Let's see what I can muster out of this one. I believe I'm gonna attack a few times, maybe once. See, one of the things that can be very worrisome with the Briar deck is that you draw just some people might call a potato hand, and you just don't get anything off. Maybe you just like pitch to make a rune chant and swing for two with Rosetta. That's very anti-tempo, as you could imagine. But it looks like I will be getting some attacks in, even if it looks like a ball lightning, a blue one for one. It's an easy block for him. Or I used a card. Is that a blue ball lightning?
Yeah, this is
Having
a
a little
blue
bit of
ball
trouble.
lightning, and he's blocking with
Hmm,
an Oakenold, so
yeah,
um, he might have a little
very
bit of a
interesting.
weird hand. He might just not have blues to put into his crown and ram's head. That could
Yeah,
be the case, but or rather,
I
he
think.
has no arsenal anyways. So
Yeah, I think it was
uh,
still probably better if it was a blue to just like use the ram's head um, to just block for one. It's unfortunately we don't have my opponent here in the call to just like verify what his line of thought is, so we're just gonna have to infer a little bit up to what's going on here. Um,
yeah,
yeah, super good card, Coax's Commotion. I don't personally use it too much. I just had it in the deck just so wanted to test it out. Looks like it was afraid of getting the Quicken token as Oldhim is not going to get a lot of use out of it, but as Briar, I would get so much value just if I could have that Quicken token.
yeah, that'd be amazing for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he had the ice card in hand, but you actually had one. You had two cards in hand at the end of your turn, so ice reacting would have done nothing. And he just gets to do the other play of hammering you for four with the frostbite effect turned on. So
And I believe that was something I was very doing a lot in the game, which is like keeping around two cards in hand or threatening to draw another card with Snatch, just to make sure that I wasn't so vulnerable to the ability of getting a card put back on top of my deck. Um,
yeah, that's almost more detrimental than a single frostbite.
mhm.
So
Here you go. I'm going to be able to replace the card with a Gurginian Tome, giving me one non-attack play. So starting off the turn pretty good. Also, we saw that Oldhim, that was the second Channel Lake Frigid pitched. I'm not sure how long this game goes, but I'm very happy that I don't get to see those Channel Lake Frigids on the board. This one was interesting. I think it's gonna just I kind of like did a lot of variance here with having to pitch to get that Tome of Harvest to play, just draw three cards and just hope that they're not duds. And also, additionally to that, digging myself deeper into a Channel Mount Heroic, which I haven't seen yet.
yeah, it looks like you had a lot of blues in this hand, and if you do dig into the Channel Mount Heroic, you already have an Earth card in your pitch, so it'd be perfect time to play that. But even if not, you still got that embodiment of lightning and four cards deeper, so or three
Mhm.
cards deeper.
Yep. And actually, if I remember correctly, I did draw Channel Mount Heroic here, but I believe my hand wasn't poised to just take full advantage of it. So I think I just have an attack for four with Go Again into Rosetta Swing. Um, Something just really slow and just really patient because I just wanted to make sure that at this point in the game that we get some good Channel Mount Heroic turns. Because I feel like if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to really close out this game. So you'll
Yeah,
probably
the
see me
Oldhim is
arsenaling up
still
to.
pretty high at 27 health, and I'm not sure if he's running sigils. I may have missed if he played one earlier, but that's
Yes.
still a pretty sizable life total to have to overcome. So just getting full value to that Channel Mount Heroic makes a lot of sense.
Mhm. And I believe at this point we do see the Olden player maybe taking one or two extra chip more aggressively here, because I think I mean he started a bunch earlier by swinging the hammer, but he's understanding that my life total is very low and that he can threaten a lot with just these hammer swings. And I have
Yeah,
been
he must
blocking
be
a
thinking
decent
the
amount.
same thing as well about the Channel Mount Heroics coming up, and he might want to start some aggression so that you have a harder time keeping hands for those as well.
Yep, yep. And we'll see. I think it's just gonna be a Rosetta swing, nothing too fancy. I still have three whole cards in hand, so not the most efficient turn, but It was more like a small setup play just to make sure that I can get a good Mount Heroic turn again. Yeah. Yeah, I believe he's pitching for it. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I believe he pitched the 3, just block 1 arcane and then block one of the damage with Sword Swing. So he took 2 total. Which again, super happy. Two chip damage. Let's go. Let's see what he does. Yep, just a hammer swing as well. And pitching a blizzard. That would have been very bad for me if that blizzard had come up.
Yeah, so the Oldhim player is happy to do another Frostbite Hammer and also end his turn with an Arsenal. So
Hmm. Hmm. Could be pretty good. I wonder if I go down
whoops,
11. I do. Whoa.
that's a little bit of a clip there, but yeah, it looks like you just took the 4 and got a Frostbite.
Yep. I believe, and I am very okay with paying 4 resources for a Channel Mount Heroic here. I believe. We'll see. I don't know, Plunder Run. It's gonna be the first thing I do.
Blunder on that costs 1 is still pretty good if you ask me.
Especially a red Plunder Run. It's gonna be, yep, gonna have 2 floating. I think I play the Channel Mount Heroic. Yep.
We go.
Pay a
It's the
bunch for
card.
that. Yeah. So I'm gonna have a nice embodiment of lightning. I'm gonna have a nice attack to follow it up here. Yep, Arcanic Shockwave for 10. So this is where we start getting those big attacks and turning the corner. And I'm still gonna have some resources floating to be able to Rosetta Swing. Um, it was almost good that I got a Frostbite token because that means that I wouldn't have been left with a card in hand to get maybe Ice Reacted, and that I wouldn't get my Rosetta Thorn swing going. But maybe I would have seen that I could have just like pitched for a Rune Chant anyway, and I still have 1 floating. But nonetheless, it's okay that I got a Frostbite.
Yeah, that's a huge thing to look out for. If you if you're vulnerable to getting ice reacted, if you can overpitch for something and still have some left over, I think you'll see
Hmm.
Dash players do it a lot when they play against Oldhim. They'll make sure that they pitch an extra card just so that they don't lose an entire card worth of resources if they're playing against an Oldhim who could potentially ice react them. So definitely applying that strategy to other heroes is very good.
Yeah, you want to be thinking about that when playing against Oldhim. And there's not a lot. Yeah, other than overpitching, what you could do is, we have your energy sink. In this case, would be the Grasp of the Arcanite for Briar. And Dash has the items. You can put energy as many times as you want, like you mentioned. So that, yeah, so just keep an eye out when you're playing against Oldhim. And I believe it's a hero you'll be seeing a lot. It's pretty good.
Yep, so this is a rough one to block. 10 damage and a draw effect. He has to block everything. He's just figuring out how exactly he can piece it together.
Hmm.
So
So he does have Crown. He does have the shield. I believe I asked him, hey, do you have a 2/1 floating now, which is fine. He draws a card. I believe he's going to have another defense reaction here, and it's going to block 10 very cleanly. Or not. Wow. All right. Taking 4 damage. I draw a card, which, uh, you know, as long as he doesn't ice react, it doesn't matter uh, to me very much here. But if I just swing Rosetta for 2 and 2, this might be really interesting. I'm curious. Do I swing Rosetta Thorn? Oh no, I just play Exude. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I thought I was like, let me get this value off of this Channel Mine Heroic. I'm gonna draw 4 cards anyway. If I swing with Rosetta, he's just gonna put it at the top of my deck. I kind of don't want to Exude at the top of my deck without having Go Again available to me so easily. Even though I have Snapdragon Scalers, I thought I could save the Snapdragon Scalers for much later. Let me just get the plus 3 value now. Yeah, and then
that's
yeah, to get to
definitely
chip
so
the
much
damage.
value coming off of the Channel Mount Heroic. Six damage extra already, and it's going to be
Hmm.
around for a whole nother turn
Yep.
at
Yep. So very
least.
happy about that. And yeah, we see this. This is also a little bit interesting as well. It seems like I thought about it a little more to play that Exude, and I didn't think about this part, but it seems like the older player was like trying not to block a lot because he had a Spinal Crush coming along. And if I channel my heroic and then they Spinal Crush in response, it is could be really backbreaking, but also really backbreaking can be the Channel Lake Frigid.
Yep, so you're gonna have to pay an extra resources for all
Hmm.
of your attacks this turn, and we'll see how much resource cards you have and how many attacks you have. But even then, I think that's still a good amount of value coming off the Channel Mount Heroic.
Hmm. So I believe I'm not super upset about this one. Um, Obviously, keeping Channel Mahorok around as much as possible is the best thing you could do here. Um, I believe I do get a very interesting play in which I pitch 3 resources to get a rune chant, and then I have 2 floating. So now, and both of those cards are Earth. So I will be keeping Channel Mount Heroic around for another turn, which very happy about. And this ball line is coming out for 6, 1 rune chant and 6.
So I think he's gonna be taking the Rune Chant here
Yes, I think
and
so as
blocking up the
well.
Ball Lightning.
Hmm. We'll see. It's just 1 rune chant. Yep,
Yep, he
just took
does
the
take
rune
the Rune
chant.
Chant.
I think it'll be also pretty lucky for me that my opponent will not have 2 ice cards here.
Hmm.
Um, because if he would have, and another, if he counters my 2 turns of Channel Man Heroic with his 2 turns of Channel Lake Frigid, it would have been really good for the Oldhim player. But I believe I'm going to get a lot of value of this Channel Man Heroic. So now this is a third usage, so it's already given +9. Just giving a mental tally of how good this Channel Man Heroic has been.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think your next turn had quite a few attacks come through as well.
Yeah, I believe so. Believe so. We'll see.
This is
This
just
one's just
another
going to
two
be
damage.
yep, just 2 damage. No non-attack play this time around, so it's gonna be a straight 2. Something simple. Again, block to the card, super happy. Chips for 2, super happy. Just classic Fab gameplay.
Yep, so he's really trying to pressure you and preserve some cards to put the pressure on, or maybe preserve some cards to finally get a card in Arsenal to start taking advantage of Crown of Seeds again.
Mhm,
Um, I don't know why I said finally. I think he had one 2 turns ago and just didn't have one when he Channel Lake Frigid,
mhm.
but he does just hammer here. 4 damage is a good chunk of your 11 total
Yep,
life right now. So
1/3 for sure.
if he can maybe catch you off with a bad turn, he might be able to just keep you on the toes for the rest of the game with the life total. Um,
And this is one of the turns where I was had the 2 turns ago where I started remembering my tunic resource. So I think it was a little bit in the middle there where I just kind of forgot to take it up. Luckily, it didn't matter too much as I was mostly trying to block and just kind of stave my way into these Channelman heroic turns. Um, so we'll see how I fare this time. Ravenous Rabble, and that is a blue, unfortunately. So
that's
just
a
gonna come in
yellow,
for
it looks
5.
like.
Yellow? Okay, then that's fine.
Yeah.
So it's still gonna come in for 6. 5 plus 3, 8. Yep, it's gonna come for 6 damage with go again. Ravenous Rabble. I played Ravenous Rabble back in Azalea Ranger, so I'm a big fan of the Ravenous Rabble card. Very happy to see it come back in again. Not the best in this Briar build, as there are more blues and yellows, so you could see getting a lot less value off of it. But Channel Maharo kind of offsets it, so you're not upset about having 5 go again if that's the worst you can have for 0 resources. I think that's still pretty good. So yeah, they decided to break the combat chain here. Play unfortunately unfused Bramble Spark. I don't remember what I was thinking too hard for here. Oh yeah, I was thinking about what to do. Oh yes, this play was really interesting. I chose to draw a card with this Enlightened Strike, knowing that my top card was a Ball Lightning. So that would present with Chelma Heroic in play. That presented another 5 damage here, which was uh, yeah, it was just a threat of 5 damage. So either my opponent had an ice card and he had me put the card back on top of my deck again, and that would strip the card out of his hand, making it so he can't block with it, or um, I get to keep it and he doesn't have an ice card and I get to go through for another, threat. I think we deliberate a bit here. I definitely give it go again. Yep, sinks below. I didn't do the mental math about for too long because I was kind of thinking a lot to these games and I felt really bad, making Anthony wait for so long. Um, so I believe this was the higher upside play, but yeah, I still have the Tunic Resource for 2 and 2 as well. So again, very happy to chip in some damage.
Yeah, I mean, if you can still just end your turn with Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2, he has no cards in hand or arsenal. You definitely got value out of that. Uh,
That
yeah,
Channel Mount Heroic, I
Snapdragon
believe, did.
scalers.
Yep, and that Channel Mount Heroic, I believe, did +3 to 5 total attacks. So, 15.
Pretty
Yeah,
good
so that was a
value.
lot. Pretty good value. I think at this point, I was super comfortable about my position. Um, and Huh. I'm pretty sure that that Arsenal card is a Channel Mount Heroic. I believe the hand that I drew here was not poised to play this Channel Mount. There's a second Channel Mount Heroic down. Um, because I didn't get enough value off of the first one. So now it's just going to be just simple attacks. There, Oldhim is a 7 now, so every little thing, every little chip matters. Um, yeah. So 2 arcane here, thanks to the special effect of ball lightning. And with one null barrier, the Oldhim can block it, and he's been pretty aggressive with his ice cards. So he hasn't had Arsenal for a little bit here. Awesome.
So it looks like he takes one of the arcane and then blocks the physical in full. Has 2 resources floating to potentially use on his Ram's Head and 1 arcane later.
hmm Here, yeah, I believe I just went for the higher upside damage play. I could have just Rosetta Torn for 2 and 2. I believe here I was just thinking that I was a little worried that my opponent might come in with a big attack. So I wanted to like stock up my embodiments to kind of offset this, the opponent's aggression. Um, but it was probably fine if I just Sonoros Rosetta Torn for 2 instead of the Scar for a Scar. But yeah. So it could have gone really either way. I don't remember what card I held off on, but maybe it was probably better to keep the Scar for a Scar in hand, especially knowing that I was coming up on another Channel My Heroic turn. This was very interesting. So he did Oldhim react and using the pulse, we got both effects, but I responded by playing the Lightning Press. That makes more sense why I played the Scar for a Scar.
Yeah, so
Just
before
target
the
Lightning
Pulse
Press.
of Isenloft Oldhim React resolves, you play
hmm
that in response, and then the React has no effect except for the 2 defense.
Yep.
So that's a pretty heads up line for sure.
hmm Again, got my opponent at 3, and oof, I got 2 embodiments. So, and if I have a 2-block non-attack, I'm very happy to just block with it and just continue preserving my lead here. I was able to, with my lightning press there, get him down to 3 life. Yeah, a little sad because again, I believe I knew that I wasn't going to get this Arsenal card out anytime soon. So I'm fine. Or as I say, as I get it out now. Great. Channel Maharog number 2.
Yeah, either way, you just get value off of blocking the single card for 4 and not having a Frostbite token. So
hmm Here it is. A very weak start of the Channel Mount Heroic turn. Just a snatch for 7, no go again. But again, it's another way. I believe I had another attack in hand, but it's another way to kind of like play around the ice react to put the card on top of my deck. You see, he could have blocked with all of his armor and just not taking anything, and then ice reacted, and I'm fine with taking all that card out of his hand. But if he doesn't ice react, I get to arsenal the card, and if he doesn't fully block, I get to draw the card that he puts on top of the deck anyway. So there's a lot of layers to this kind of interaction here.
yeah, so he does go for the full block play. Of course, being
hmm
at 3 means that that's one of your only options. Throws your card back on top.
hmm
But even a 4 card hand with Channel Mount Heroic out is going to be threatening when he's on 3 life. So
And I believe, let's see what happens here. I believe he's just going to attack for 4 with no. I was very, this one, I was like, look how quickly I took that life. I was like, oh, no, okay, I'll take it. I believe
yeah,
this hand is going to be the one that seals the deal. I drew into an amazing follow up to this Channel Mon Heroic turn, starting off with a Ravenous Rabble that unfortunately gets -3, but 5, again, 0 for 5 with Go Again. Uh, Super happy. Super happy about that one. Yep, has to block for 6, wants to preserve as much life total as possible.
yep. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that Crown of Seeds arsenal to block with the Ram's Head and Crown.
hmm
But there's just so many, unfortunately, ways that you can end the game here. Any number of attacks when he's on 3 life are going to be crazy. So we see a Ball Lightning for 6, another good
hmm
start.
Yep. And then he has to full block it because like just blocking for 3 makes him take 4, so he would have died anyway. and then just any attack here that I got in my hand would have been fine. I believe I just throw out the Ravenous Rabble, showing that, hey, I could have
Yeah.
done 4 attacks in this turn anyway. We'll see. I think I also had another 0 for 4 cost attack to get even more advantage of this Channel Heroic. But yeah, that is the game.
Yeah, we
So
saw you go down so far in life at the beginning of that
mhm.
game, but you were just holding out. You were being patient with your threats, trying to get the chip damage through, waiting. Some people say the Lightning Briar or the zero cost Briar is a plunder on deck. This is a Channel Mount Heroic deck, and we're just waiting for that card to come around, and we can play that. You got 15 damage off the first one. Off the second one, it looks like you got 9. No, you got another 12 off the
Yes,
second one.
damage. Yeah, another 12 on the second one. So that, yeah,
Yeah,
very
so
high value off of those cards.
that
Um,
27 damage off of 2 cards makes up for the fact that you're on 27 or something like that health 4 turns into the game. So
for sure,
that
for
was a
sure. And then just
crazy
crazy.
victory and a lot
Yeah,
of good
that was
plays, a lot of heads up plays too.
yeah. I tried my best, try to get one in for the team. So this game, I believe, was before the one that one of our other teammates, Haciel, uh, where we didn't know we were going to win the week per se. We ended up going 4-1 in the week, so we were very happy about that, and also very excited to continue the Flesh and Blood competitive leagues here. Um, just fighting some really strong opponents. Make sure not to miss your tunic triggers in this one because you're gonna fight some. There's some good players here.
Yeah, those tuning triggers are gonna matter. Uh, I think next week we're facing the Hyperloops, another highly respected team, and I think we're excited about those games as well. There's just going to be so much good testing and so much competitive play, so hopefully you guys are ready to see some more games.
Yep, exactly. We'll be bringing in more content as we record it and we play those games. So look forward to that. And to even look more forward to that, you should like our video so you can see more content. You can also subscribe to the channel. Our goal by the end of the year is to get 500 subscribers. I believe it's a very feasible goal. I believe we're pretty close. We're at like 400 and something. So yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Yep, thanks everybody. See you next time.
Peace.